Hey folks, this is Keith and I'm back with another riding video sooner than I expected. I've been taking good care of my foot and I'm actually back on the bike again. So this video I had a real nice opportunity to take out a vintage BMW Airhead. My good buddy Mike, who you've seen probably many times with his F800 GS, also owns this real nice 1972 BMW R60/5. I rode it about a year and a half ago and really just fell in love with it. Just a real elegant way to travel. And we decided to take a Saturday ride out and bring the WR250R and the Airhead. And I had the pleasure of riding the Airhead for most of the day. Mike really wanted to try out that WR. Well, I thought it would be kind of fun to throw the bikes together in a very unlikely comparison. You probably can't find two bikes that are very different from each other. But by the end of the day, I found that there's more similarities than I thought. Let me tell you a little bit about the Airhead. It's a twin-cylinder, 600cc, air-cooled engine. Very, very basic. Anybody can work on it, and they're just so reliable. They're so simple. When you look at it compared to today's motorcycle, it's pretty stunning how simple the thing is. What we decided to do was to throw a few different riding scenarios at it. One of the first things we did was hit some twisty roads, and this is kind of a favorite route of ours for the sport bikes when we just want to kind of get our groove on and hit some curves really hard. This is Route 116 going through Deerfield and Conway, and I had to say that the R60 did a really good job. It pretty much, I could put it wherever I pointed it. It was very predictable in its handling. It was just a real pleasure to ride. And you know, one of the things about this bike is it's just so smooth. Maybe you can kind of hear it. It doesn't make excessive noise or shudder too much. It doesn't complain. It just kind of goes, and it was really fun to do that. The one thing I'll say though is the one area, you know, it's kind of lacking is in the power. I think this bike has about 40 horsepower, and that doesn't. It's really not a lot compared to today's bikes. And so when you're coming out of some of these corners and you're wanting to throttle out of them, you know, you just find that you're running out of throttle pretty quickly. And there's some parts where we're riding a little bit faster where you're just topping the bike out at, like, you know, 60 miles an hour or something like that. You know, this part here where we're kind of going a little bit faster, it has a little bit of a harder time catching up. This part here, I was really trying to get it, you know, see how fast I could get it. I think I got it up to 80 was the top speed. And it really struggled around that. You know, that's not that different from the WR at all. But, you know, the revelation that I had was really riding this bike on these back roads. We have these all over western Massachusetts in what we call the hill towns. And this bike will just kind of go all day. It's very comfortable, you know, no issues with your ass. You're not put in a really awkward ergonomic position. There's not excessive vibration. I mean, you can, if you kind of listen, it's really kind of a quiet experience. It's very smooth, not overly loud. And, you know, for these kinds of roads, the Airhead is just so nice, you know. I've kind of walked away thinking that I really want to get one of these in the future whenever I can swing it. I'm not sure what kind, but I just kind of fell in love with the elegance of it, the simplicity of it. Just a different way of traveling that's really fun. Now the WR, I got to ride it again a little bit, and Mike rode it, and I think, you know, for the conditions we were doing, it is very similar to the old Airhead. The twisty roads, it handles those really well. It probably handles those better than the Airhead. You just kind of push it down into the corner, and you find that you don't have to put as much effort into it as you thought you might. You kind of overshoot the yellow line a little bit if you're not paying attention. So it handles really well. It's smooth, it's comfortable. I didn't get really uncomfortable on the bike riding it for a while. Been putting a lot of miles on it the last few days. But where I find the similarity with the Airhead is the power. You know, with the 250 and you're looking at 27 horsepower, you're really not able to throttle out of these corners very well either, you know. So the two bikes never lost sight of each other, which was kind of fun because Mike and I always kind of playing that catch-up game with the bikes that we have. And then when I looked at the power to weight ratio, they're remarkably similar. They're both about 11 pounds per horsepower. So I think they're actually pretty complementary bikes. when you think about it. And so it was kind of an eye-opening experience. The WR, I can't say enough good things about the bike. It's really great off-road, but I found that for this kind of riding that you're seeing here, boy, it's a lot of fun. I got to throw some luggage on it and kind of make it a little bit of a touring bike and see where it goes. I've been really interested in kind of a minimalist touring bike, and I think this fits the bill. Bringing like one pair of clothes, small tent, small sleeping bag, backpacking material, no cookware, basically what you have on your back more or less, and just seeing where that takes you for the weekend. I think the WR is going to be a lot of fun. I can see doing that with the Airhead as well. If I get an Airhead, I think Mike and I will probably be doing some weekend trips on that. But for right now, I'm in love with this WR. It's, you know, a lot of the trips that we do, we don't end up going on the highway. In fact, if we're going to go to Vermont for the weekend, we're going to ride up these 2-lane state highways or back roads. And the WR is perfect for that. It doesn't like to go 50 miles an hour or more. It's kind of a lot of work to do that. So for these kinds of roads that you're seeing here, it's perfect. And it just handles so well. It's just, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. The Airhead made me smile the whole time I was on it. I didn't want to give it back to Mike, even with a brand new WR sitting there. But I can say with the WR, when I'm on that, I don't want to ride anything else either. I find that I have just been riding it and not really riding the Tenere very much, because it's just one of those things, I don't know how to describe, but it just puts a smile on your face when you ride it. If you're on the fence about the WR, oh man, just jump on it. You really can't find anybody on YouTube or online that's going to say a bad thing about it. But as far as this comparison goes, I'm going to call this one a draw. Both of these bikes are wicked fun. If you are looking for something just to do the back roads on and you like that vintage part, you can't go wrong with an Airhead. There's still a lot of them around. They last forever. The parts are available. There's a good group of people who ride these bikes and keep them going and love them so much. If you want to ride some dirt roads, boy, the WR is hard to beat. I would look at that bike real strongly too. I really appreciate you watching. This has been a really fun comparison for me. And Mike, thanks very much for letting me borrow the Airhead. I hope to get out on it again soon. And enjoy. Thanks guys for subscribing if you like these videos, and give me a thumbs up if you like them too. Take it easy.